Storm and Ponder and that sort of thing. He's got his Entombs, he's got his Dazes, his Force of Wills, his Careful Studies. So it's your pretty standard Reanimator deck.
To some degree.
Yeah, he's got a lot of different targets. You know, some people play like 4 Griselbrands and then a couple other bullets, but he's got 8 different bullets that he's going to be able to Entomb for. And if he doesn't draw Entomb, hopefully he finds the right bullet.
Yeah, I'm going to take a look closer at his list. It's I have a Reanimator deck. It's not far off from this. It plays 4 Jin-Gitaxias, and some of these 1-ofs are in the board, and this was pre-Griselbrand the last time I played it, so I haven't actually messed around with it since Griselbrand has been printed. But you can be sure I'll be switching some of those cards out for Griselbrand. I don't know if I think I may play more than one. I kind of like the idea of just replacing, because I played 4 Jin-Gitaxias, or 3. I believe 4, I can't even remember. I think I may go down to like 1 Jin-Gitaxias and then max out on Griselbrand.
Griselbrand's too powerful, man.
He's ridiculous.
Such a good card. Now I want to take a look at Bob's deck really quick. Now, I'm not sure if he knows he's against Reanimator or not, but I'm sure he'll figure it out pretty quickly. And I want to see the ways that he's able to interact with a giant monster being in play, which I see 4 Swords to Plowshares. Umezawa Sheet's probably going to be a little bit too slow. Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, can actually slow him down a bit, because he only has 17 lands in his deck.
Yeah.
So that can be pretty big if he's able to play that on the play, and possibly on the draw. He's got Fauna Shaman to be able to find some answers if he needs to. Liliana's not going to have much of an effect. Scavenging Ooze is going to have a huge effect if he's able to get it in play with mana available. And certainly do not forget about the one of Karakas in his sideboard, or in his main deck, excuse me, tonight of the Reliquary 4, along with one of Mazavith to be able to hold off a giant man, depending on which guy Don gets. So this matchup's going to be interesting. Typically, when you think of Reanimator deck against a green-white aggro deck, you go, okay, Reanimator is going to smash this guy.
Right.
You know, he's going to execute his game plan with no resistance, and then put whatever guy he wants into play, and then go from there. But this Maverick deck is tricky.
Yeah,
it's got answers to things that you wouldn't expect it to have answers to for a green-white deck.
It has a lot of play, a lot of options.
So I'm interested to see. Both are taking them all. So they're both going down to 6. I would think that if a deck is going to mulligan, I think Reanimator probably mulligans better than Maverick does, just because of a card like Brainstorm, like Careful Study, that sort of thing.
That seems accurate to me.
Anyone? I know you said you have some history playing Reanimator. You know, do you feel that Maverick is a good or bad matchup?
To be honest, I don't even think I've played against Maverick with my Reanimator list. Now, like, I'm trying to think about it, and I feel like if Reanimator can just get the nut draw, but like my list is really heavily centric on Jin-Gitaxias. You know, like, it's Jin-Gitaxias centric, I guess is a better way to word that.
Okay.
Where, like, you're gonna, like, the Jin-Gitaxias not only just draw me a ton of cards, but you discard your hand, you know, like, and if you don't find an answer for Jin-Gitaxias right away, you're living off the top of your deck. And meanwhile, I'm drawing counter spells. Like, that's how my deck is built, to really take advantage of Jin-Gitaxias. With Don's deck, he just has 1 Jin-Gitaxia, so he's gonna have to likely Entomb it.
And that means he's going to have to draw and or find Entomb.
Right.
I'm interested. I'm interested because, you know, typically, like Reanimator decks, as I said, they play a few silver bullets, but then they have more of a certain threat than another, because that certain threat is better across the board in the matchups. You know, something that can definitely happen in this matchup, as it looks like they're taking some more mulligans. They're both mulligan to 5. Is that, and especially now that Don's mulliganing to 5, he might draw the wrong threat. Again, like, you know, his only threat may be Angel of Despair. And it's like, I don't really care about that. That's no big deal. And then, you know, Bob is able to just win the game through a 5/5 flyer. And it's like, whatever, that's not a big deal.
Yeah, like Jin-Gitaxias, it's super, like, once it lands, once you get it into play, the window is so small. If you don't already have an answer for it or draw an answer for it that turn, it's really tough to fight it, because now you just hope that every card on the top of your deck is going to answer it before I kill you with something else. And meanwhile, I'm drawing all these cards, and okay, you finally drew an answer. You know, even if you draw an answer the next turn, Force of Will. You know, like, because I just drew it off of all those cards that I just got from Jin-Gitaxias. And then meanwhile, I'm drawing more cards to enable my reanimation suite, where I can go, yeah, I got Jin-Gitaxias, not not super threatening, you know, power and toughness wise, but since I'm drawing all these cards, I'm gonna, you know, reanimate a Iona and name the color of your removal spells.
Yeah, you're gonna lose eventually.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. The window, the Jin Gitaxias window, or Jin Gitaxias closes the window pretty quick. There's some people screaming.
There are some people, yes,
I think
screaming.
somebody just got Jin Gitaxias.
Are these
out of the
mulligans?
game.
Are we going down to 4?
What's
Don's
that?
going to 4? Don is going to 4. Crazy, but a 4-card hand, it's not impossible. He can draw the right combination of cards to win the game. So don't think that this game is just over because of mulligan to 4. While you were on break, we almost saw a Rug Delver player who mulligan to 5 and kept a no-lander pull out a win against Attack of the Show. So anything can happen.
All right, Misty Rainforest from Don. I mean, it can be as simple as, and obviously this didn't happen. Don could be like turn 1, careful study, turn 2, reanimate, like,
Yeah.
and that's it.
It can be over that quickly. Even though he has mulligan only 4 cards. Reanimator is a deck that, while it is a combination deck to a certain extent, I mean, when you have cards like Careful Study and Brainstorm in your deck, you can undo a mulligan very quickly.
Yeah, it's built kind of like, it's a combo deck that has a very blue-black control feel to it.
Yeah. Let's see how he
With
feels
some
about
counter
this.
spells and discard spells. So, Green Sun Zenith from Bob, and Don cracks his Rainforest, gets an island, casts Brainstorm, and looks like he's got a Reanimate in hand. Couldn't quite tell what else is in his hand. He's keeping it close to the vest there.
Now, for some people that are wondering at home, that Green Sun Zenith is just for 0. It's just going to go get a Dryad Arbor and act as acceleration.
And Don says, okay, Zenith resolves. Get your Dryad Arbor.
Hopefully we'll be able to get a better look at Don's hand just to see, you know, what part of the puzzle is he missing. You said you did see a reanimation spell there?
Yeah, there's a Reanimate. It looks like Careful Study.
I see a Brainstorm as well. So.
Okay, so that might be his hand.
And I like how he searched out the basic island too. Instead of, it's easy to just go get an Underground Sea there and then open yourself up to Wasteland, which you don't want to do on a mulligan to 4. So
That top card of his is Reanimate. No targets, no black mana. Not going to do much for him at the moment.
he's just going to
He
pass.
passes the turn with no second land drop.
I don't know if I like that. You know, if he's got to hit a second land. I mean, he can wait around some, and now he can't wait around much at all because Scavenger Ooze is going to take over this game really quickly. I would want to Brainstorm on my main phase to be able to hit a land drop. There's not really, I don't really see the gain out of doing it on the end step.
Yeah, it's that Ooze is awful for Don, and he's already mulliganed, so he's in trouble. Let's just say trouble.
Yeah, he's in trouble. I mean, essentially what's going to happen here? I mean, all things being honest, is that he's got maybe a turn, maybe until Bob untaps with 2 green mana available. He's going to have Scavenger Ooze mana up. He doesn't really have a good reason to play another spell. And he's just, if a guy goes in the graveyard, he's going to eat it.
Yeah,
he's going to eat it.
Now, maybe Bob doesn't know what Don's playing. There's a Marsh Flats from Don.
This will help expedite the price
And I have a feeling that Marsh Flats may be getting a swamp.
I agree. I agree with that.
Please come to the stage with your deck sorted and drop it off here at the stage.
And you may think at this point in the tournament, Joey, maybe these 2 gentlemen have sat next to each other.
Yep.
You know, maybe they know what each player is playing.
That would be
That sort of thing.
very likely. Oh, you found your second land drop? I'm going to play Thalia.
We'll be closing at the end of this round.
We might just want to go right to game 2.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Please head over and do that before the end of this round, as they will be closing as soon as the Swiss is finished.
I mean, the cards that Bob has in play, they're both so powerful.
Yeah,
They really
Thalia makes obviously making all of Don's spells cost 1 more, and it's already a land light deck. It plays 17 lands. So much of the deck revolves around 1 and 2s as far as actual spells you're casting. It only really needs 1 or 2 lands in play, but Thalia is going to make that a lot more of a difficult proposition. And Thalia is not even the biggest problem on the table.
Yeah, Thalia is causing like a myriad of problems, and it's not even the biggest problem that's on the table.
Yeah,
that's what makes the Maverick deck so, it's so unassumingly powerful. You look at this deck, and on the whole, it's just a green-white aggressive deck. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot going on. It's green-white creatures. It's got some nice utility lands, Umezawa's Jeet, Green Sun Zenith, whatever. And then you see a Thalia in play against someone who only has 17 lands in their deck and has already taken a mulligan for it, and you say, okay, that's pretty good. And you look at Scavenging Ooze, and it's just a 2/2 on the surface, and that ability is powerful, but you don't even realize how powerful it is, and how many things it can do, and how it's just affecting this game in such a way that it's almost impossible for Don to win. And that was just that was the first creature he played on turn 3 of the game.
Yep. And the way I look at it is, if Don feels like Bob does not know what he's playing, I just scoop. Scoop now before he knows what you're playing.
Yeah, I don't want there to be. I 100% agree with you. I don't want him to see something to tip him off, like a careful study.
Right.
And he discards a big guy, and he's like, well, I want to see if my opponent is smart enough to remove this card. Why don't we you give him enough credit. You don't let him see the game plan. Maybe you play some more of this game, and you don't do anything from downside just to see some more cards from Bob's side, and then move on and play the second and third, and hopefully the third game.
Yeah, it's tough though if you're Don. It's tough to know if Bob just maybe was sitting near you and noticed what you had in play, or walked by while you were playing, and noticed that you had, Iona and Gristlebrand in play or something. That gives it away. So Scavenging Ooze is going to remove a Brainstorm. Not really that relevant, but again, maybe Bob thinks Don has Snapcasters in his deck. Could be.
So what do we have here? Sylvan Library.
And it's that much more difficult. Because now Bob,
it looks like,
he's going to be able to draw the best of his top few cards.
Scavenging Ooze is not attacking. Mm-hmm. So your thought on Snapcaster Mage, I do agree with. There's no reason why it wouldn't be attacking. What that leads me to think is that A, he does think that he probably has Snapcaster Mage in his deck, and B,
Don should scoop it up real quick.
Yeah, B, I don't think Don should let him see any more information.
Yeah.
And be like, yeah, I'm playing Reanimator. You should be attacking.
Yeah, because the only other thing, looking at the other side of it, is I'm hoping, if I'm Don, I'm like, maybe I can get him to board out the Scavenging Ooze. But if he thinks you have Snapcaster, he's not boarding out the Ooze either.
Yeah, at least one of them's going to stay in.
Yeah. Still, and there's Caracas. I mean, Bob is just like, hey, I have all the spells to beat Reanimator if that happens to be what I'm playing.
Yeah, he's got. I mean, looking at this, how many legends does Don have? I think they're almost all legends.
2, 3, 4 of 8. So half the creatures are legendary. And Thalia bringing the beats. If I'm Don, I don't know how he gets out of this. Is he just hoping Bob accidentally taps out, and so he can get a window to reanimate? And if he reanimates anything, it better not be a legendary guy.
Yeah, if he's going to reanimate something, it's going to have to be.
No,
Elesh Norn's okay. It's going to kill some things here.
Yeah, Elesh Norn wouldn't be bad.
If he's able to get the window open. But even if he does that, is that enough? It's going to get bounced with Caracas. Is he could still lose the game?
Yeah.
And then it's like, was doing that, momentary wrath of God, for lack of a better term, worth it?
Right.
Was it worth it for me to do that when it's not technically going to win me the game, and now it's tipped off my opponent?
Now he's got Mazavith. Bob has so many tools to beat Reanimator. Don, if I'm Don, I'm just scooping. It's just getting further and further out of reach. You already have trouble as soon as Scavenging Ooze resolves, and you've mulliganed.
to 4.
Then he goes Thalia. Okay, it looks like it's over. Oh, Caracas. Oh, Mazavith too. Oh, come on.
Yeah. The nice thing here for Don, and I basically agree with you conceding. He's conceding without conceding, basically.
Yeah, I think he's just drawing and watching.
Yeah, he's just drawing.
See what Bob has.
In air quotes, considering his options.
Yeah.
And when it gets to the point that he has to discard a card, that's when I think I would concede. It looks like he played a land that turn.
Yeah, he played a land. And Scavenging Ooze removes Misty Rainforest. Bob just kind of doing it because he can. It doesn't actually give him any advantage.
And at this point for Don, it's just an information game. See what you see. Now typically Maverick decks do play Umazawa Sheet. It's not a huge surprise, but in the off chance that he wasn't, maybe Bob leaves it in when it's not very good in this matchup. That sort of thing. At least Don knows now that it's there.
Right.
I think Don has done a pretty good job of
hiding what he's playing.
Yeah, I really do, because like Mother of Runes is sitting at home. Scavenger is sat at home for 3 turns.
Yeah.
So it's like he might be afraid of Snapcaster Mage. I think he really is truly afraid of Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah. So there we have Don. He either conceded or just actually died to damage because he was so low. But I have a feeling Don knows exactly what Bob is playing.
Yeah, I think Don is kind of in the driver's seat now of, all right, my opponent thinks that I'm playing something that I'm not.
There's Bob, all right.
And, I can sideboard comfortably knowing what he's playing, and Bob cannot sideboard comfortably because he's not entirely sure what I'm playing.
Yeah,
2 Brainstorms and 2 Fetch Lands doesn't give a ton of stuff away.
Not at all. He saw like nothing other than that. Michael Hetrick thinks that Bob probably knows what he's playing against, but that Don's Graveyard may have given a hint.
I don't think that's true. If he knows he's playing against Reanimator, there's absolutely no reason he wouldn't be attacking with Scavenger Ooze.
And Mother of Runes?
And Mother of Runes. If he's 100% sure, then he would be attacking with those creatures.
So Pithing Needle. Pithing Needles, of course I typed. Can name Caracas, right? Can name Mazavith, right?
Yeah.
So those are some cards that Don can bring in. He's got 3 Pithing Needles. He's got 3 Show and Tell, now knowing that he has to fight, or very likely has to fight Scavenging Ooze.
And I think he'll for sure bring those in.
He's got a couple of Echoing Truths.
It's possible, but I find it unlikely.
Yeah. He's got a couple of Thought Seizes. He's got a Blazing Archon. I think that's probably coming in.
That will be joining us.
And he's got a Spell Piercing,
which unlikely. And looking at Bob's deck, I'm gonna pronounce the sideboard, assuming he knows that he's playing against Reanimator. Okay. And like I said, we know here that we feel as though he's not 100% sure he's playing against that deck.
Yeah.
But if he were to know that, there are 2 Path Exiles in his sideboard. He has 1 Surgical Extraction. He has 2 Tormod's Crypts. He has another Caracas to board in, and he has another Bajuka Bog to board in. So his deck is very well set up for this matchup, especially after sideboard. Game 1 I feel is fairly close, but he definitely is well set up that if he knows he's playing against Reanimator, he's got the tools to beat it in his sideboard.
Yeah.
Now it's going to come down to how does he sideboard? What does he think he's playing against? And I think we'll be able to tell rather quickly in this game if he knows what he's playing against, if he draws a Knight of the Reliquary.
Yeah, and I think Knight of the Reliquary is the key to victory for Bob, because so many of the tools are based around around lands. Mazavith, Caracas, those are really good ways for him to beat the Reanimator deck. And aside from Scavenger Ooze, which if a Scavenger Ooze comes down early, it's awesome. If your opponent's already reanimated something, Scavenger Ooze looks a little silly.
Agreed. I agree.
It's not there anymore. So maybe this is going through the side door, through the garage door, through the dog door. But does Don want to try to maybe do something with his Surgical Extractions on Bob's Knights? If he can get a Knight into the yard, can he counter a Knight and then extract it? I mean, it seems like a really roundabout way of of dealing with it, but you know, just an idea. I don't like surgical extraction.
I mean,
every time I'm looking at it, I'm like, this seems like terrible.
I don't like it, but something that you're doing that I like is that you're keeping your options open. It's not conventional, you know, for a Reanimator deck to board in surgical extraction against a green-white deck. But like you said, if that's what it takes to win, if it involves him going, all right, Dazier, Knight of the Reliquary, surgical extraction, I feel a lot safer now.
Yeah.
Then if that's what it takes to win, that's what it takes to win.
You have to now draw your Caracas. You have to draw your Maze of Ith. You know, things like that. But, you know, the main deck, Bob, is set up so well against Reanimator, just with Thalia, Knight, Scavenging Ooze. You know, like, he's got several of his guys are already in good shape.
Fauna Shaman to find any of those creatures as well.
So
he's definitely set up quite nicely to beat Reanimator. That game, I feel as though game 1 should be a lot closer. Obviously, Don mulligan to 4. You know, these things happen.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, if it's 7 cards on 7 cards, you know, that matchup is fairly close. But now, so long as Bob knows that Don is playing Reanimator, I think things slide his way in a big way. In a very big way. But we'll see. You know, this is where Magic gets really, really interesting, because the way I feel, if I am Don playing this match, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, this guy has no idea I'm playing Reanimator. That's actually what I'm thinking right now. As I'm sideboarding, as I'm shuffling, I'm thinking to myself, he didn't attack with Scavenger Runes for a couple of turns. He didn't attack with Mother Runes and was leaving up defense. I'm almost proof positive he doesn't know I'm playing Reanimator, and I'm going to play as such. Now, that might get me in trouble this game.
Right.
But that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, it's to say, like, he has no idea is, I think he might suspect, but I don't think he's very sure of it. Obviously, I think he was playing around some sort of Snapcaster tricks there. And, you know, but who knows? Bob might be like, yeah, I knew. I just thought maybe he had Condemn.
Yeah, maybe Bob is reeling Don in, and we don't know it. You know, there's a lot of there are levels here, and you know we're obviously overanalyzing a little bit.
Yeah,
but
we're trying to find every angle we can that we see. You know, between these players, is there a mulligan taking place, Jeremy? Or
both are going to sixer.
All right,
both are going to six again. Don, the camera is not being friendly, my friend. I'm sorry. It's nothing personal. We promise.
So.
It's so surprising, what this Maverick deck can do. I really like this deck, just because it's so unassuming, but it just does so many things that you would not expect from a green-white deck. That's just something I just really like about it.
So here's what I'm thinking. If I'm what I want, if I'm Don, I'm trying to design a good opener. So turn 1, fetch land, pass. Bob plays Windswept Heath or something, you know, whatever. Something non-Wasteland. Or, I guess it could be Wasteland, but, end of turn, crack my fetch, get an Underground Sea, cast Entomb, put Jin-Gitaxias in the yard, untap, either land, exhume, or reanimate my Jin-Gitaxias, and Force of Will any kind of removal spell he's got.
Yeah, if he still has the Swords of Plowshares in his deck or something like that.
And, you know, this is what I'm hoping happens. And then Bob has, like, a very short window to find an answer. Bob has, oh, well.
Guess what?
Cat out of the bag.
Guess what?
Bob knew.
Bob knows. Bob knows.
Tormod's Crypt on turn 1 from Bob.
There's nothing like having what you say for 5 minutes be completely irrelevant. It's just fantastic.
Well, again, then my question is, why didn't you attack with Mother Runes? Like, what are you afraid of? If it's Reanimator, he doesn't have removal. He doesn't have Snapcaster. What are you doing?
I agree. He's
Unless maybe he just had a hunch and went with it. And maybe he's still not sure, but he's like, well, I got this Tormod's Crypt. If he has some Snapcaster shenanigans, I can Tormod's Crypt it away. You know, we assume he knows now, but
I mean, there's no. I don't think there's any bigger giveaway than what I've just seen. So now. He's going to go ahead and sack end of turn. Go ahead and probably get a Savannah.
And indeed. Don's Brainstorm looks like it's all ready to block an attacker. It's sitting out there kind of half in the red zone. So Green Sun Zenith on the stack from Bob, and we're going to go ahead and Don's going to think about it. Going to play a little with that island. He's going to crack his fetch land.
So Zenith is going to just be for 1, so it's going to go ahead and do the Dryad Arbor show again.
Yep.
So he presumably he kept the 1-lander, and it had a Tormod's Crypt in it.
So yeah, that was the
Kind of the
nail in the coffin.
Yeah, kind of the card that's going to want to make him keep. But don't forget, he has Show and Tells in his sideboard.
Yeah, so that Tormod's Crypt could not could end up being irrelevant.
He has Show and Tells. He has Pithing Needles in his sideboard as well. So it may not be the backbreaker that we think it is.
So Don goes ahead, cracks his fetch, gets a swamp, and allows Bob to resolve the Green Sun Zenith. Searching for a Dryad Arbor. Not a surprise. And Bob
just his
probably
turn.
Passes the turn, and Brainstorm number 2 from Don. And I did see the Blazing Archon in his hand. So
I saw one as well.
if he hits a Show and Tell here, land Show and Tell, creatures cannot attack.
Provided that Bob doesn't have a Swords or one of the two
Some way to protect
2
it.
Path Exiles, because he does have 6 outs to it. Provided he doesn't have a way to take care of it, he's going to be okay.
I believe Don also had Iona available to him, and I think
Ooh.
Sphinx of the Steelwind. So there's land, and he passes. So no Show and Tell, no show.
There's Athalia again. The very
And
unassuming
there's
legendary.
a Daze.
There's a Daze. All right. The very unassuming legendary 2/1. Do you like that
Days.
he
Remember.
he opted to do the alternate casting cost on Daze instead of just paying for it?
He could have just paid for
He
it,
could have just paid for it.
but
So that interests me a little bit.
and he might not have had a land drop anyway, so it may be irrelevant.
Well, he had 3 lands in play.
Right.
Oh, you say he might have a 4th
for this,
land?
yeah, he might not have
Okay.
a 4th land. I mean, it's unlikely for this 17 land list to have drawn a quarter of its lands at this point in the game, especially
fair.
with cracking 2 fetch lands too. So it may not be relevant. But you're right. It could have been relevant. And it looks like he did actually.
so
he
he did
certainly
run
didn't
away.
return Misty Rainforest to pay for
See,
that days.
I knew it. So one of the cool things about Reanimate that some people don't know,
It targets.
it can target their graveyard too.
So he reanimates Thalia. That's a weak reanimate.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you.
That's a weak Reanimate, and he went out of his way to stop Thalia from being in play. I mean, the effect is symmetrical.
Right, exactly. So he
So-
still has to pay.
So he's still going to have to pay an extra mana for whatever he's trying to do. I don't know if I like it.
I don't know if
I don't know if I like it. I mean, I guess it's an attempt to get Bob to use the Stormlight Crypt on himself.
Maybe.
But Bob's going, I kind of wanted that in play anyway, and I'm pretty sure I can beat a 2/1. So now the Reliquary showed up, and that's kind of the end boss for Reanimator deck.
If you wanted to daze something, it would have been that.
That's the one that you wanted to daze.
I understand
and-
dazing Thalia though, so I can't fault the daze on Thalia. I don't quite like the reanimate on Thalia, but it's a dude to block the knight.
Not quite. I mean, Knight's already a 3/3. Horizon Canopy.
I didn't say it was going to profitably block.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's going to chunk block it. but,
Touche.
you know,
You win.
it's-
It definitely can block, but not very well.
No.
And there's a Scavenging Goose.
Scavengers. Also, the cat is certainly out of the bag now because reanimate was cast. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure what the benefit of reanimating Thalia is, but either way, Knight of the Reliquary, Scavenging Goose, Mother of Runes, all on Bob's Conley side of the board. In addition to the Cavern of Souls that he played earlier this turn, or last turn, I mean.
I think I know what
Think you know what Cavern named?
I think I know. Well, I'm fairly sure it named Human, but I think I know if I'm down right now. I'm thinking of a card. I'm thinking of just one card that I need to draw. It is Show and Tell. I need to draw it like right now.
Yeah, and you need to have like Elishnorn or something in your hand.
Well, Elishnorn isn't even going to save me because of my Reliquary for Caracas. It's going to have. I think Don's avenue to win this game is I need to draw Show and Tell. I need to put Blazing Archon into play. And I need to pray to whatever I believe in that he does not have one of his 6 ways to kill it between 4 swords and 2 paths. I think that is his quote-unquote out.
Yeah, okay.
Two more mana, and we are going to trade Thalia's, my friend. Give me that back. Get that out of my
Thalia
graveyard.
goes to Bob's graveyard.
Get that out of here. Attacking is okay.
Scavenging Ooze and Knight
Knight does attack.
in for a bunch, and that Scavenging Ooze also removed the Reanimate, which is not relevant, but if there was a Snapcaster in Don's deck, it may have been. What do you want to say?
Scavenging Ooze.
Okay.
We're going to look up Scavenging Ooze over here because it does a lot of things for just a 2-mana 2/2. And so I just want to make sure that everyone at home knows what it does. It is a 1 green for a 2/2. 1 green to activate. Exile target card, from the graveyard. If it was a creature, put a +1/+1 counter on Scavenging Ooze, and you gain 1 life. The reason I looked at that is just to make sure that he was going to be able to remove his own Thalias from his graveyard.
And he certainly can.
To be able to pump up the jam, pump it up. And he's going to be able to do that on his end step if he chooses to.
And it'll be a 4/4 Ooze there if he wants to take some damage from the canopy. He'll gain a life. It'll
It'll negate
itself. Yeah, but careful study. Either, I believe, on the stack. Yeah, here. So
He's
down,
kind of deciding what he's going to discard.
Here,
yeah. I mean, I'm willing to say at this point that after watching the way that these games have played out, and I know there have been mulligans on Don's side, this matchup seems fairly favorable for Maverick.
Yeah.
It really does feel that way. And that's strange to say that a green-white deck is able to just beat a deck that puts a giant monster into play on turn 2 or 3. But it seems like it has so many tools to be able to beat a giant guy being put into play ahead of schedule.
And looking though at these games, like you said, Don mulled to oblivion yesterday. Last match yesterday, whatever. So, okay, so careful study. Dumps Iona and Reanimate, and he's cracking a Misty for an Underground Sea. So anyway, yeah, like first game is not very indicative of the Reanimator deck at all.
I do agree.
Game 2. Your opponent starts off with Tormod's Crypt, you're already behind. Even if he had some kind of crazy start, he can't even execute because now there's a Tormod's Crypt there. So it's been a ridiculously uphill battle for Don
just from
this
the start.
match. And, honestly, I think it is a bad matchup for Reanimator, but it's not as bad as it looks. Okay, so Show and Tell from Don, which hopefully will get him back into this game and this match.
This is cross my fingers. Hope things go my way. Not only that, what's even more crazy is, let's say things work out, and he's going to put Blazing Archon into play. Bob can just Knight of the Reliquary very calmly for a Maze of Ith.
Yep.
And hey, I'm not going to take any damage for a while. I'm going to give myself some time to be able to draw that Sword of Plowshares or that Path to Exile, and I'm going to be perfectly fine.
So it's resolving Gaddock and Gristlebrand.
Oh, he puts Gristlebrand into play. Okay.
Gristlebrand in play. There's no Caracas in play. Right. That was yesterday, right?
That was yesterday.
Game 1. That was yesterday. These guys just take a long time in between their games. So Gristlebrand in play. Don at 10 life. I don't know. He's got lifelink, so obviously Bob doesn't really want to attack, but I'll give my guy pro black swing.
Yeah, I mean, I can give my guy Pro Black. I mean, he saw Caracas game 1, so he knows that he has a way to obviously put that back in his hand and make that show and tell fairly irrelevant. You know, given the options, and we know he has a Blazing Archon in his hand, I'm not in love with that play.
Yeah, if I'm Bob, I go, all right, I'm going to Knight for Caracas, bounce your Griselbrand. Are you going to pay 7 to draw some cards? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I triple dog dare you.
I don't even, you know, he's getting GT, he's putting it on a Scavenging Ooze. You know, this is all fine. But I'm just like, right away, I'm just going to, you know, you're going to draw 7, what are you going to do? You're going to go to 3 against my army?
We're going to our attack step. I'm surprised he's not searching for Caracas here.
So,
or maybe he's going to do it before. I mean, presumably what he's going to do is he's attacking into him, and then he is going to block one of the guys, and the Mother Rune's going to give it Pro Black. I don't understand why he just wouldn't
get Caracas and deal with the
Griselbrand, bounce it right now, and just attack you
straight up. Yeah,
like, and just attack
because he can't afford to use Griselbrand's ability. All right, so Griselbrand blocks the Scavenging Ooze holding a GT. Mother of Runes targets Scavenging Ooze, giving it Pro Black, presumably. Never assume. I will take a guess and say it's giving it Pro Black. And yeah, that's happening. Okay. No damage dealt by Griselbrand. Ooze doesn't kill Griselbrand, but gets two GT counters, and Gaddock Teague kind of got in, took a bite out of Don's kneecap there.
He got in his 2 points. Now, is he going to be able to get an attack in with Griselbrand? I can't imagine.
It's going to just go Maze of Ith, right? Or Caracas.
I cannot imagine in a million billion years that he's going to be able to get to attack with this. He is going to draw 7 cards.
Oh, he's going to go to 1. Okay.
He needs a second.
He better hope Bob isn't the Punishing Fire version, where Knight just fetches up like a. Well, obviously he doesn't have any mana untapped, I don't think, right now. So the best he could do is get one untapped land. But well, Don draws 7 at 1 life. He draws
7. He's got a mitt full of cards. I mean, my assumption is he's looking for a show and tell to be able to put a Blazing Archon into play, but truthfully, he had his opportunity to put Blazing Archon into play, and he chose not to. So,
yeah, the Archon might have bought him a little bit more time. Not anywhere near as many cards.
Yeah,
but more time.
And we can't see Bob's hand very well, so we're not sure if he has a path or a swords in his hand. But with how the board position was synced up, you got to risk it.
So he plays Pithing Needle. Interesting. Yeah, he's going to tell us what he named, I hope.
When we find out, and I think my initial guess is probably Tormount Script, is what I would like to think he's going to do, but I could
he could do that. He could name Knight. So, once the needle, Bob says, okay, it resolves. If Don says Knight, Bob can't go, I'm going to respond by activating Knight, right? Once
Correct.
it's named. So, he hasn't named anything yet? Okay. So that's the thing. Does he go Caracas? Does he say
Knight?
Maze of Ith?
Yeah.
Does he say Knight?
He pointed at Knight of the Reliquary.
And you can't do it. You can't respond. Once I name Knight, that's it. You have to respond to the casting of the Pithing Needle. You can't respond once I name it. Yeah, that's the deal. So I know it's that I said that out loud because I wanted to be sure of it too.
Yeah. That's the ruling. That's how it works. That's how that card works with Meddling Mage. That's how it works with Pithing Needle, cards like that, Voidstone Gargoyle, all those cards.
So Pithing Needle names Knight, and that Knight's just a big dude now, which is probably just fine, but not as great as Bob wants it to be.
I mean, things are going to get a little interesting here because now he's going to be able to attack with Griselbrand and go back up to 8.
No Maze of Ith on the table at the moment, no Caracas on the table. Don's going to gain some life here, and You know, if he's somehow able to get like Sphinx of the Steel Wind in play, his life total could be completely out of reach for Bob. He could have just found himself a way back into the game just with that Pithing Needle. He's already kind of found himself a way back into the game with the Pithing Needle.
For a game that we thought was pretty much over, he's navigated himself somewhat back into the game.
Yeah, now if Bob had done what we had thought earlier, at least what I had thought he was going to do earlier, Don discarding there at the end of... No, he's not discarding.
No, discarding a Careful Study.
Oh, it was Careful Study. I'm sorry, I didn't see the Careful Study. So he discards 2 Force of Wills, yeah. I thought last turn Bob was going to deal with that Gristlebrand during his turn, and now I bet he's sorry.
I bet he's thinking he wished he did.
So Gristlebrand in for 7.
Once again, I believe you've made top 8. Please come to the stage.
Don's going to go back up to 8. Bob's going to be at 12.
For the top 8. Once again, if
He's going to go.
And he's like, moving dangerously. Draw 7 off of Gristlebrand. Back to 1. I think how he like untapped.
Yeah.
Can I attack again?
Attack again.
Ready, Gristlebrand. Teen Titans go.
Did he find Show and Tell yet? He is searching away. I mean, he is giving himself the best opportunity to win. He's drawn 14 cards this turn.
I think
Show and
he
Tell?
may have found Show and Tell. He did
so many cards.
Just tapped 3. I don't know what else it could be.
Okay.
There is a Show and Tell. Bob Conley puts Caracas into play. I'm just kidding. I mean, I bet you that would be ridiculous. So Bob didn't put anything into play. Blazing Archon comes into play for Don.
If he didn't put anything into play, what could be in his hand?
Some sort. Well, we're not going to look at Don's list to find that.
The only thing that could be in hand is a spell.
Yes, Swords, Green Sun, Zenith.
I mean, he can't cast Green Sun Zenith because of Gaddock Teague, so there is that.
Could be Path. I mean, I think he is tapped out. Could be Path of Swords.
I think he would have turned over. I think he would have turned it over if he had it already. So
yeah, good point.
I think he would have been like, okay, here it is. I win.
So I think that was in just arrange your graveyard for us, or like put it out so we can see what's there. So this is looking like a dredge match. Hey, it's Bob Marr.
Yeah, Dark Confidants here. No big deal.
No big deal.
Yeah, if you guys didn't think you should come to Origins, you were wrong. And he has swords.
Oh my gosh. Days.
And he has Days, which he's probably going to happily pay for.
Yeah.
And how about another one? And
he is sorry he removed those force. Well, he couldn't.
Well, he's
anyway.
He's at 1, yeah.
Never mind. Swords to Plowshares. I assume that's targeting the Blazing Archon.
Yeah, that'll be targeting Blazing Archon.
Yeah.
You are assuming correctly. Now, unless his... Yep, okay. That's
there
it.
There it is. Don Reed putting up a heck of a fight there. That was really exciting.
Yeah, that was a comeback. But in the end...